off season, and we are back for some football. We officially have we're about week 3. We're week 4 in the CFL. Sorry, and we've been cashing tickets there, and I know not everybody's into the CFL, so now you'll have college football this weekend, and we're going to talk about a few things. We are going to talk about, as always, I'm going to talk strategy. I'm going to talk bankroll management, portfolio management. It is not a goal of mine to be known as the guy that can pick winners. I would prefer to be known as the guy that knows how to make your winners pay you, and the right strategy that you actually take home the money when you have winning plays. We're going to talk CFL a little bit. A couple plays this weekend. I'm not going to get too in depth because I know, quite frankly, not everybody's interested. I'm going to talk some college game breakdown, and then if anybody's got some questions about games that they're interested in, I think that makes the most sense. I think, Chris, we decided we should do this recording on Wednesdays going forward, if that works out, because I feel like Wednesdays probably gives everybody a little bit more time to get the plays that they need for the weekend. Thursday, there's a lot of plays, although I stay away from Thursday NFL. There's Thursday college plays. So I will say, I actually see somebody's face. Was that a camera? That was pretty cool. So big news. Last year we tracked our picks, and I took my NFL picks, and every week, starting around week 7 or 8, we started measuring it up to the Westgate. The Westgate competition is the super fan. It's the top handicappers in the world, and our picks on this page measured up, we would have been top 4. And so rather than talk about it, we're in. We are in. I did not join the Westgate. We are actually in the Circa. I looked at it, and line by line, the competition at the Circa just made more sense. It's a top. When it's all said and done, by the time NFL kicks off, it'll be the top 3,000 handicappers in the world. Our NFL picks that you guys are getting directly from me, and even some direct messages and in-game plays. You'll be able to see how I measure up on against some of the top competition in the world. And if we finish in the top 4, quite frankly, I chose the Circa over the Westgate because I'd rather be at the Circa than Westgate. And when we get into that last week, if it's close enough, I'll fly out there, and there's quarterly prizes. And so yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. And seeing how our picks on this page actually measure up for real. It'll be great for the page. It'll certainly be great for our pockets if we finish top 4. Because I know everybody's following the picks. So I wanted to make sure I told everybody that. You'll be able to follow the picks once week 1 of the NFL happens. I will have to pick 6 games. Those of you that followed from last year, I don't always have 6 NFL plays. And those of you that know me, broken record, but I throw away the NFC East matchup, any combination of the 4 teams. I throw away Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night. So when you do that kind of leaves only 10 games to choose from. So I might have to move back on some of the rules just to find favorable spreads. And the other thing I wanted to let everybody know is I have to submit these picks on Saturday. So if you're looking up at my picks, I believe that there'll be full transparency to the public. It's 151 Sports, and it's on the Circa app or the Circa website. But those picks might be slightly different only because point spreads will be different from when we record on Wednesdays, and we're talking to when the picks actually are due on Saturday. And in this competition, there is no changing them. So I'm probably going to wait till Saturday to do it, only because any type of news, COVID or injury or anything else, I want to get as close to kickoff as possible so that we have the updated picks. So there's that. We're going to talk strategy again for a minute. And, this is an easy one, and I'm not sorry for being a broken record. Here's how you play it. We're going into this NFL college season, and we're going to start the season with a larger amount of plays because the impact of a loss, we want that to be a smaller percentage impact to the portfolio. This group, we're all into Wall Street. So 15% gain, 20% gain in a week, that's huge. And I don't look at football any differently. We want to have the 5-2 week, but the reality is 5-4 pays. So we're going to tiptoe into this opening weekend, and this is week 0 coming up. And so, how do you manage it? Let's just say $100. And we just throw that out there. And you might be $100 better, you might be $1,000 better, you might be a $10 better. But typically the way you do it is if we have 6 games that we're looking at this weekend, and $100 is your bankroll, you're betting $10 a game. That's your unit. And I say that because you need the remaining 4 units to get yourself out of any trouble, or if a game is really going in the right direction and you want to get more money into it before the spreads adjust through live action, you want to be able to have that. So there is no liking one game more than the other. There is no winning the first game and then you go add more money to the rest of them and give it back. I don't do that. And again, you can manage your bankroll however you want. I'm wanting everybody to understand the way I do it, and it's tried and true over many years. So we go into it that way, and then we look at live action. And I won't go beyond the 4 remaining units. And again, this is based off of 6 units. You have 10 units. 6 units on the game, 4 units remaining for the live action. And I won't go beyond the 4. And if I got a live action game, the way I typically play that is I cash the first one. You got a first quarter or first half bet. When that cashes, I will go back into something else potentially for only half of the profit of that cash. That way we can stay a winner on that game. And that's just typically where I go, and then it builds from there. And any of you, if you're watching a game this weekend, or if you want to let me know, hey, I'm going to be watching this game on Saturday, I'll pay attention to my phone and I'll take those messages. If things come up, if a live play comes up, I'll hit you with it. You got to have fast fingers because sometimes they come and go. And but I'll try and help everybody out as much as I can, especially if we have a week where it's starting to look unsavory and it's not tracking the way we need it to. I'll try and throw some other picks out there because I want to make sure everybody does what I do. I won't take a losing week. It doesn't happen. I won't allow it to happen. And it's 50 different ways that you can go about fixing what's going to be a losing week. But every week is a winning week. It might be 5-4. It might be 7-2, but every week is a winning week, and there's a piece to it. So that's where we're at. I'm going to talk this weekend a little bit. So I'm going to go CFL. There's one particular game I want everybody to take a look at in the CFL. Tonight's game, Edmonton against Toronto, was canceled. That was canceled for COVID-related reasons. It's some 9/11, depending on where you read. Edmonton players were tested positive for COVID-19 or the Delta variant or whatever the variant is called up north in Canada. Last week, Edmonton played BC. So the news related to BC and what their COVID impact, it's kind of cloudy, and I think some of it has to do with it being in the States. It's not on TV all the time, and you kind of got to do some digging with the CFL. They don't have as much money as the NFL, and so the information is not as readily available. But that being said, I'm looking at who BC plays this weekend, and BC is giving up 5 points. This game is Saturday at 6 Central. I'm looking at Ottawa. Ottawa just played a pretty tough game against what I believe to be the best team in the CFL in Sask. They for sure have the best quarterback in the CFL, Cody Fajardo. But I'm taking Ottawa +5. I like the points in an Ottawa team that's going against a BC team that's probably asking themselves some questions related to some things that are bigger than football. So Ottawa is my play on Saturday at 5 points. You can get it at 5.5 in some places. I'm actually looking on CFL.com. It dropped to 4, but I think Ottawa has a strong chance of being an outright dog winner. That's CFL on Saturday. There's also some college games, and I'm just going to offer some information on 2 of the college games that I'm looking at. The first one I'm looking at is UCLA against Hawaii. And again, I hate to use COVID as a way to gain, but I mean, it's a real thing that's taking place. When I look at the Hawaii players, the state of Hawaii, political officials have asked people not to travel to Hawaii because COVID has gotten so bad in that state, and that ultimately puts a negative impact on their tourism revenue. And it must be serious if they're asking people not to travel to Hawaii. Now you got the University of Hawaii that's going to UCLA. UCLA, when I look at them, I'm looking at Chip Kelly, and This is his fourth season, 18-19. This is his fourth season. And if you look at where he was at on season 3 at Oregon, it's very similar to where he stands right now. Season 3 at Oregon, he was getting ready to create a trip to the Rose Bowl where he went and barely lost to Ohio State, and then the following season he ended up in a national championship, losing to Cam Newton. But nonetheless, that Oregon team, they were averaging 43 points a game. I think the difference between Oregon and UCLA, there's a lot of differences, but one of the biggest football differences, UCLA doesn't have the same football facilities as Oregon does. They don't have the same Nike money as Oregon does, and UCLA is just not as cool as Oregon is. So it's taking a little bit longer for him to get his players. But right now, just looking at last season, UCLA averaged 34 points a game. When Chip Kelly took over that team, they were averaging between 24 and 26 points a game. DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, is the quarterback. He's a real dual threat. I mean, a real dual threat. And they're scoring points. When you look at their losses last year, and that's UCLA's losses, they took Stanford into overtime. They lost to Oregon by 3. Oregon ended up winning the Pac-12. They barely lost to USC. So these big teams within the Pac-12, UCLA is hanging points on them. I think they scored 47 points on USC. So they can score points. I like them early. I'm taking the team total over 22.5 for the first half. I think that they're going to nail that. I also normally I wouldn't lay this many points this early in the season, but I think that Hawaii is they got enough going on to where UCLA is going to rough them up. I'm laying the 17 and playing that one. It keeps bouncing around the spread between 17, 17.5, 18, but I like the team total over 22.5 for the first half. If you get under that, take it. I would take it really anything. I would stop at 24. I would stop at 24, 23, 23.5. I'd probably give it a hard look at what my unit size is there and probably adjust the unit for the week if I like that. But I like UCLA in both of those plays. The other game that I'm looking at, I'm not going to give an official pick here. I'm going to post it on the premium side. But look at the Illinois game and look at the Illinois-Nebraska. Illinois's got a new coach, very similar coaching style and player preference type statistically that Lovie Smith did last year. Brett Bielema's taken over for Illinois. They beat Nebraska last year pretty badly, but Nebraska also threw 3 interceptions. Nebraska's got a coach on the hot seat. It's an interesting game to look at. The spread is 6.5 or 7, depending on where you look. That's a game that I'm going to be invested in, and I'm going to post that one on the premium side also. Then there's another game. I'm not saying to take it, but I found it to be really interesting. So this is week 0 in college. So there's random games. We're looking at Southern Utah against San Jose State. Now on paper, San Jose State will blow the doors off of them. It's a 24-point spread. What I found interesting was if you look at next week, who does San Jose State play? So week 2, San Jose State plays USC. I don't know if there's a such thing as a trap game when you're San Jose State, but I do know that they're going to, if they get a big lead, they will probably call off dogs to make sure that everybody's healthy. They're going to want to make an impact against USC. I don't think that their true focus is going to be to finish off Southern Utah. So in that game, I would look at laying the points in the first half. If you're in, sorry, I got a Greyhound that's talking to me right now. But if you're looking for action, it's the last game of the night this Saturday coming up. I would look at San Jose first half, not necessarily the 24th for the game. They could and should cover 24 for the game. I'm just not super comfortable with it because you got to look a week out and what that means to their schedule. And San Jose State showing up, playing tough against USC, they may want to protect themselves. And so I'm looking at that. And as we get into the following week, we're going to talk Wednesday next week, as long as that works for Chris. But Wednesday I'll have some Thursday plays because Thursday is truly the opening night in college. It's not week 0. There's some real matchups. Boise State plays against Central Florida, which is going to be a really cool game to watch. Ohio State plays against Minnesota next week. That's on Thursday night. Coastal Carolina, God, they were a cash register for us last year. Week 0 is when that whole thing started. There's it's just a ton of action, and it's going to be every day. So I leave it there. I leave it there for now. COVID in football. I think we learned a little bit from it last year. I think that there's probably going to be some opportunities to take advantage of some COVID teams. COVID is terrible, and I'm not sitting here trying to do anything. I don't even know the words I'm looking for. You guys know what I mean. But there are some teams that will lose players to COVID, and there might be some opportunities there to take the other guy. And so, that's worth looking at. That's certainly our strategy with this Hawaii game and this Ottawa game, and we're about a year worth of COVID sports betting. So that's kind of it. Anybody needs anything during the week, send me a message. You guys on this call, do either one of you have any games that you're looking at this week that you want me to talk about?
I was looking at that Illinois-Nebraska piece, but I'll save that for your premium side of the house. It's seems like a gift.
It kind of does. You look at like Illinois threw 3 interceptions last year, and that quarterback's not playing there anymore. I'm sorry, Nebraska threw 3 interceptions last year in that game. I don't know, how often does that happen? So you're probably right on the gift. You're probably right on the gift. But I think that was it. I'm gonna post the picks here. Probably get them up tomorrow morning, because I just want to make sure that I double check everything. I think it would be reckless for me to post picks that I don't think are right. But just everybody understand, these picks that I post, these are baseline positions. These are baseline positions. I use a lot of live action. Much like all of us, I'm sure all of us have our own strategy with stock portfolios. You have your core blue chip picks. Everybody's got an Apple or a United Healthcare or just a core stock in your portfolio, and then we go out and we use options to raise capital. And I kind of think of the live action as those options plays. You'd kind of jump on them in moment and timing and things like that. So understand, if you're having a week where my picks just ain't working, we're off to an 0-2 start or a 1-2 start, hit me up. We're not going to lose. We are absolutely not going to lose. I'll tell you my next 5 plays. Very rarely do I post 5 picks and just stay there for the week. That's just not how I do it. And don't double up on anything. Don't dig back in if you don't have to. That's the last thing. And pay yourself on Monday. This Monday coming up, no matter how big or little it is, pay yourself half your profit, and keep moving the needle forward.
Awesome.
I think that's good for me, unless you guys have anything else.
No, I'm good. I'm totally good with Wednesdays. I think that makes sense schedule wise. So.
Okay. And I'm gonna post the Worldwide Sports Radio, and I'll get that posted so everybody can listen to it. And it's also airing on Saturday. The Canadian football update airs on Saturdays too. So that's that. You guys have a good week. Let me know if you need anything.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
See you.